Procrastination is one of those strange human behaviors that almost everyone experiences, yet very few truly understand. It feels like a silent force that sits in the background of your life, waiting for the exact moment you need to take action so it can pull you away from it. You know what you should do, you know the consequences of not doing it. You may even know exactly how to begin, and yet you find yourself scrolling endlessly, opening and closing apps, reorganizing your room, or staring at a blank page as minutes turn into hours. Procrastination is not laziness, and deep down, you already feel that. Laziness is a lack of desire. Procrastination, however, is the heavy resistance you feel even when the desire exists. It's waking up knowing what needs to be done, but feeling as though your mind and body simply won't cooperate. It's wanting the result but struggling to begin the process. To understand procrastination, we need to go deeper, far below the surface level habits and into the emotional, psychological, and biological mechanisms that drive it. Procrastination is a self-protection mechanism. It doesn't happen because you don't care. It happens because your brain is trying to avoid discomfort. That discomfort can take many shapes. Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of judgment, lack of clarity, perfectionism disguised as waiting for the right moment, or even exhaustion from constant pressure. When your brain senses a task that triggers one of these emotions, it activates an ancient survival response. Instead of pushing forward, it tries to keep you safe by directing you towards something easier, lighter, or more immediately rewarding. This is where dopamine comes in. Your brain is constantly looking for the fastest way to feel good, and tasks that are challenging, uncertain, or emotionally heavy don't produce instant rewards. But your phone does. Social media does. Rewatching a familiar show does. Even cleaning your room suddenly becomes appealing because it provides a sense of progress without emotional risk. Inside your brain, procrastination is essentially a conflict between two systems. The limbic system, which seeks immediate comfort and pleasure, and the prefrontal cortex, which handles planning, discipline, and long-term goals. When both systems want different things, procrastination becomes the battlefield. You might feel the pull toward your future self and everything you want to accomplish, but the limbic system responds with an equally strong pull toward anything that feels lighter and safer right now. This is why procrastination can feel like an internal tug-of-war. It is not a moral failure. It is a neurological negotiation, but procrastination also has emotional roots that go far beyond biology. Sometimes you avoid a task because it is connected to a deeper fear. If you're afraid of failing, your mind convinces itself that the best way to avoid failure is to avoid the task altogether. If you're afraid of success can be scare you, may fear the pressure, expectations, or responsibility that come with doing well. If you grew up in an environment where mistakes were criticized, where perfection was required, or where your efforts never felt like they were enough, your brain may have learned to associate productivity with anxiety. This creates a powerful emotional block. You're not avoiding the task itself. You're avoiding the feelings the task triggers. There are also times when procrastination is a form of quiet rebellion. When you feel overwhelmed by demands, pressure, or expectations from others, delaying action becomes a subtle way of reclaiming control. You may not consciously realize it, but the resistance you feel is your mind's attempt to say, "I decide when I act." This type of procrastination is common in people who feel overly controlled, overly criticized, or emotionally exhausted. In those cases, delaying tasks feels like the only space where you have agency. Another misunderstood aspect of procrastination is that it is often tied to a distorted perception of time. When you think about a large task, your brain doesn't see the task itself, it sees the emotional weight of everything that comes with it. That weight makes the future feel overwhelming and the present feel like the only place where comfort exists. This creates a loop. You delay the task to escape discomfort, but the discomfort grows the longer you wait. The task becomes heavier, scarier, more urgent, and more stressful. This intensifies the fear, making you delay even more. Over time, procrastination becomes not just a habit, but a cycle of emotional avoidance. One of the most surprising things about procrastination is how often it disguises itself as preparation. You tell yourself you need the perfect environment, the perfect mood, the perfect timing. You convince yourself that once everything aligns, you'll finally begin. But perfectionism is one of procrastination's closest allies. It creates an impossible standard that ensures you never feel ready enough to start. The truth is that readiness is a myth. Human beings rarely feel ready before doing something challenging. Action creates readiness, not the other way around. Another layer of procrastination comes from mental fatigue. When your mind is overloaded, stressed, or burned out, even simple tasks can feel incredibly difficult. Your brain has limited cognitive resources, and when they're drained, initiating tasks becomes challenging. This is why you may procrastinate more during periods of emotional stress, lack of sleep, or when dealing with unresolved problems in your life. Procrastination becomes a temporary escape from mental overload. But this escape, while comforting in the moment, often leads to more stress later, creating a spiral that becomes harder to break. But here is something many people never realize. Procrastination is deeply connected to how you see yourself. If deep down you believe you're not capable, not disciplined, not talented, or not worthy of success, your brain will resist tasks that challenge that belief. It is easier to avoid the task than to face the possibility of disproving your own negative self-image. This creates a psychological phenomenon called self-handicapping, where you sabotage your own progress, so you then have to confront your fears. Procrastination becomes the excuse. I didn't fail because I wasn't good enough. I failed because I didn't try. This protects your self-esteem in the moment but keeps you stuck long-term. Even more fascinating is that procrastination can happen when the task is actually meaningful to you. The more important something is, the more emotional weight it carries. The more emotional weight, the more fear it triggers. This is why people often procrastinate on creative projects, career dreams, personal goals, or anything that could truly change their lives. It's not because they don't care, it's because they care deeply, and caring deeply makes the risk feel bigger. At its core, procrastination is not about time management. It's about emotion management. It's about protecting yourself from discomfort, even when that protection holds you back. And it is about navigating the internal conflict between who you are now and who you want to become. Understanding procrastination also means understanding the way the human mind links identity and behavior. Every time you delay a task, your brain subtly reinforces the idea that you are the kind of person who delays. It becomes part of the identity loop. You avoid a task, you feel guilty. The guilt lowers your confidence, and lower confidence makes it harder to begin. The cycle repeats, and each repetition strengthens the belief that you are a procrastinator. But identity is not fixed. It adapts constantly based on repeated behavior. The same way procrastination becomes part of your identity, consistency can too. Small, repeated actions reshape the way you see yourself. Even something as simple as beginning a task for 2 minutes can interrupt the entire loop your mind is trapped in. This 2-minute initiation works because the hardest part of almost any task is the beginning. Starting means confronting discomfort. It means stepping into uncertainty. It means exposing yourself to the possibility of failure, judgment, or even success. But once the brain is already engaged, the emotional resistance decreases significantly. Momentum begins to build, your limbic system quiets down, and the prefrontal cortex takes control. This is why so many tasks you dread becomes surprisingly manageable once you finally begin. The beginning is the psychological barrier, not the task itself. Another important aspect of procrastination is the illusion of time. People often believe they have more time later, or that their future self will somehow be more motivated, more disciplined, more energetic, more prepared. But your future self is just you, with the same habits, feelings, fears, and energy levels you have now. In fact, when you imagine your future self, your brain treats it as if you're imagining a different person altogether. This distance creates a false sense of security. You push tasks onto this imaginary future version of yourself, hoping they will handle it better than you can now. But eventually, the future becomes the present, and the weight of all those postponed tasks falls back on you. That pressure often leads to stress, panic, and anxiety, which can trigger even more procrastination. Many people underestimate the emotional exhaustion procrastination creates. When you delay something, it doesn't leave your mind. It lingers quietly in the background, draining your mental energy. You think about it while doing other things. You feel guilty when you try to relax. Your brain uses energy worrying about what you haven't done, even when you're avoiding doing it. This is why procrastination can be so mentally exhausting. It steals your peace even when you're resting. Breaking this cycle brings back a sense of clarity and control that many people forget is even possible. Procrastination also thrives in environments filled with distractions. Modern life is designed to hijack your attention. Apps are engineered to pull you in. Notifications are crafted to trigger your dopamine system. Digital platforms are built to keep you scrolling, clicking, and consuming. Your brain has limited attention capacity, and constant stimulation weakens your ability to focus. This makes it easier for procrastination to take over because attention becomes fragmented. Tasks that require deep focus feel harder, and your brain gravitates toward quick, effortless rewards. Rebuilding focus requires intentional, effort-reducing digital noise, setting boundaries, and creating moments of uninterrupted concentration. But the emotional side of procrastination should never be ignored. Many people avoid tasks not because they're lazy, but because the task threatens their sense of self. A student might avoid studying because failing would confirm their fear of not being smart enough. An artist might delay creating because they fear discovering they aren't as talented as they hoped. Someone might avoid starting a business because success would force them to change their life in ways that feel overwhelming. These emotional undercurrents often operate silently beneath conscious awareness. You're not just avoiding a task. You're avoiding the emotional exposure that comes with it. Perfectionism is one of the biggest emotional drivers of procrastination. It creates an impossible standard where anything less than flawless feels unacceptable. Instead of risking an imperfect result, your brain convinces you to avoid starting altogether. Perfectionism tells you that you need more time, more preparation, more information, more clarity, but these are just sophisticated ways of avoiding vulnerability. The truth is, perfection is never the starting point. Excellence is built through effort, through trial and error, through showing up, even when the conditions are not ideal. Overcoming perfectionism means accepting that progress matters more than perfection, and that imperfect action is infinitely more valuable than perfect inaction. Sometimes procrastination is rooted in stress or emotional overload. When your mind feels overwhelmed, even simple tasks become emotionally heavy. It's like trying to move through thick mud. Your thoughts slow down. Your motivation drops. Your capacity to handle tasks shrinks. In this state, procrastination becomes a form of emotional relief. Avoiding a task temporarily frees you from pressure, but this relief is short-lived, and the underlying stress grows. Understanding your emotional capacity is crucial. You can't expect productivity from a mind that's trying to survive. Sometimes, the most productive thing you can do is rest, reset, and rebuild mental clarity. There are also moments when procrastination signals misalignment. Not all tasks are meaningful. Not all goals belong to you. Sometimes you procrastinate because the task doesn't resonate with who you are or who you want to become. You delay it because deep down, you feel disconnected from it. Understanding whether your procrastination comes from fear or from lack of alignment is important. Fear means the task matters. Lack of alignment means the task may not belong in your life at all. But there is something incredibly empowering hidden within procrastination. It can be used as a compass. The tasks you avoid the most are often the ones that matter the most for your growth. They point directly to your fears, your insecurities, your emotional wounds, and your unrealized potential. You can learn a lot about yourself by observing what you avoid. Your avoidance patterns reveal your inner world. They show you where you need healing, where you need courage, where you need clarity, and where you need boundaries. Procrastination is not just an obstacle. It is breaking the procrastination cycle begins with awareness. When you notice the urge to delay a task, instead of judging yourself, pause and ask, what am I trying to avoid right now? The answer is rarely the task itself. It's usually an emotion. Naming that emotion reduces its power. Fear becomes smaller when it is acknowledged. Overwhelm becomes manageable when broken into steps. Perfectionism loosens its grip. When you accept that beginning is more important than flawless execution. Another powerful way to break procrastination is by reducing friction. The smaller the barrier to starting a task, the easier it becomes to begin. Preparing your environment ahead of time, breaking tasks into tiny steps, and eliminating unnecessary decisions all help reduce the resistance your brain feels. When the first step is effortless, momentum becomes natural. Momentum is the antidote to procrastination. Once you start, even for a few minutes, your brain shifts into a different mode, one where progress feels rewarding rather than threatening. It's also important to reconnect with your future self. Instead of imagining them as a distant stranger, imagine them as someone you deeply care about. Imagine handing them your unfinished tasks, your stress, your last-minute panic. Imagine watching them struggle because you avoided what needed to be done. Then imagine giving them relief. Instead, imagine taking action now so they can breathe tomorrow. This emotional connection bridges the gap between who you are today and who you want to become. Self-compassion is essential in overcoming procrastination. Beating yourself up only strengthens the behavior. Guilt drains your motivation and damages your confidence, which makes actions harder, not easier. You don't escape a negative cycle by adding more negativity. You escape it by treating yourself with the same understanding you would offer a friend. You are not broken. You are not flawed. You are human, navigating complex emotions with a brain designed to avoid pain. Changing behavior requires patience, kindness, and consistency. Over time, small actions accumulate. 2 minutes today becomes 5 minutes tomorrow. A small step becomes a habit. A habit becomes a pattern. A pattern becomes part of your identity. This is how you shift from someone who avoids tasks to someone who takes action. This is how you build discipline, not through force, but through repetition. Not through pressure, but through understanding. When you finally break free from procrastination, something remarkable happens. You gain a sense of control over your life. You begin to trust yourself again. You feel more capable, more confident, more aligned with your goals. Life becomes lighter, clearer, and more intentional. You stop living in reaction to deadlines and start living with purpose. This shift changes more than your productivity. It changes your relationship with yourself. And that is the true goal of overcoming procrastination. Not just doing more, but becoming more. Building a stronger mind. Creating a healthier emotional foundation. Designing a life where you move with clarity instead of avoidance. A life where your actions support your future instead of sabotaging it. A life where you no longer fear the weight of your own potential. No one escapes procrastination forever. It's part of being human, but you can learn to navigate it, understand it, and ultimately transform it into strength. The power to take action will always be inside you, waiting for the moment you decide to begin. If you found this message helpful, make sure to subscribe to MindDecode HQ for more deep psychology insights. Your mind has incredible potential. Let's unlock it together. Let today be the moment you take one small step toward the life you've been avoiding. Start now. Your future self is waiting.